Howdy do, I'm Ghoulie Joe, and this is my review of Doctor Sleep. In case you didn't know, it's a sequel to The Shining, based on the book by Stephen King. And so we start with a full-grown Danny Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor, who now goes by Dan. And he is an alcoholic because he can't escape the ghosts of his past, literally. After a brief stint being homeless, he meets Billy, played by Cliff Curtis, who introduces him to AA, and he also gets a job as an orderly at a hospice. And along the way, he befriends a young girl named Abra, who also has the shine, and they communicate telepathically long distance. And further meanwhile, there's a group of monsters touring the country, eating children who have the shine because they eat their spirit, their power. It comes out like steam, and they eat it. And so, the most important of these monsters, the ones that have dialogue and do stuff besides stand around, are Rose, the Hat, played by Rebecca Ferguson from Life and Men in Black International, and Crow Daddy, played by Zahn McClarnon from Westworld and Bone Tomahawk, and Snakebite Andy, played by Emily Allen Lind from The Haunting in Connecticut 2 and Mockingbird, and Grandpa Flick, played by Carell Struycken, probably best known, I guess, as Lurch from The Addams Family, the 90s ones. And when they set their sights on Abra, who's played by Kylie Curran, Dan knows he has to stop running from his problems and fight at the Overlook Hotel. It's written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who did Oculus, Ouija, Origin of Evil, and another Stephen King adaptation, Gerald's Game. It's long. It's 2.5 hours. It doesn't feel like a slog, though. Actually, it's pretty entertaining. It's fast-paced. There are a couple times when you're just like, why did they put that in there? But overall, it's pretty well-paced. I didn't come out of there going, oh my god, I want to go home. And so it's entertaining. I read on IMDb that Flanagan didn't really like Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, but he had to refer back to it just because they're making a sequel. But if I didn't know that, I think that he really, really loved The Shining, because he doesn't just call back to The Shining here and there. It recreates all the greatest hits, from the hedge maze to the ballroom to the gimme the bat scene to even the blood coming out of the elevator. The actors they hired to recreate Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson and Danny Lloyd are pretty good. Actually, I was really struck especially by Alex Esso from Starry Eyes as Wendy. She's good. And so the filmmakers made the cast a bit more diverse than what was originally in the book, as a standard for a Stephen King adaptation. Going by the ethnicity of the actors playing them reported on IMDb, Crow Daddy is Native American, Billy is Maori, Apron Annie, a not member who gets no dialogue, is played by Selena Anduz, who is mixed race, including Native American and Puerto Riqueña. I can do that better. Puerto Riqueña. Abra's dad is black. Her mom, Lucy, actually is played by Jocelyn Donahue from The House of the Devil. So Abra's biracial. Something that puzzles me, though, is that Andy is gay in the book. Or at least, the standard Stephen King version of gay, which is a woman is traumatized by something having to do with a man, so she decides that she wants to be with women. He's getting better about that, but that is a lot of his gay characters that are women. In the movie, she's not really anything. They decided to make her a teenager instead of a young adult, and so in the book, she gets initiated into the group by Rose Dewiner, which I'm glad they left out if her character's 15. But, and then she has a girlfriend named Silent Sari who is in the movie, but we only see her, roping a dude, and I'm like, what the what? Why ungay? Not just one character, but two. I haven't seen them do that in a movie since The Marathon Man, and that's from the 70s. I will say, though, that actually there aren't very many examples of heterosexual romance in the movie either, though. Abra's parents, are barely in any scenes together, and I don't think they even touch. And then similarly with Rose and Crow Daddy, they're deeply in love in the book. In the movie, they're just la la la, we can be brother and sister. The gender dynamic is interesting. The movie is fronted by powerful, smart and intelligent, because they're super smart and powerful and strong women. Dan is portrayed as a good but seriously flawed character, while Rose and Aber are just badass and amazing, and they get to do cool stuff. And I love the scene when Dan is like whining to Dick. He's like, why me? And Dick is like, really? You want to go there with the why me? I wasn't saying why me when your dad was killing me with an axe, you know? Because we got to go with the Stanley Kubrick version where he gets killed with an axe. And overall, you see what I did there? I liked it. I love the cast. The cast was so good. And I liked most of the changes from the book. The CGI looks pretty great most of the time. It gets intense. It's not scary, but it's intense is almost as good as creepy or disturbing, not nearly as good as scary. But I think it's worth seeing, even in the theater. And that is my 2 cents. Thank you for watching. I love yous. Happy Halloween.